Hello, hello. Waiting for you guys to pop on. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, welcome to the Patti on Purpose show. Today we are talking about pricing. It's a question that people ask often. How much should I charge? How do I bundle my services? Do I charge by the hour? Do I charge by the month? Do I charge by the year? How do I choose how much to pay or how much to charge? And so I want to address this and take you through a little process today to help you get clear about your pricing and your value, because the truth of the matter is your pricing reflects the value that you feel you are contributing to your client. So the first thing to do is look at your services. What is it that you're putting together? What is the end result? And don't worry so much about all the bells and whistles, like they're going to get this or they're going to get that, or definitely don't concern yourself with the amount of time. So time for money pricing is an employee type of model where we do something for so much time and we get paid for that amount of time. And people don't really want to buy your time when you are in coaching or consulting, service-based professionals. They want the transformation. They want the end result. They want the problem that you solve. And the way that they get that is by being influenced by you. You're helping them to shift. So your pricing is really based on your beingness, the energy that you are sharing with another person so that they can make a transformation. It's not based on the clock. It's not based on the forms you send or the, any of the features that you might add to make, the process easier for your client. But the truth is, what's the end result? Now, lots of times people will say, well, I don't know what my value really is. How can I put a price tag on that? So in coaching school, we did this exercise that I'm going to share with you right now. And that is get out a piece of paper and write down everything that you have learned in order to provide the services that you now provide. So maybe you went to college, maybe you invested in some mentorship or programs, maybe you traveled and studied in different locations, maybe you have different certifications. So I want you to make a list of all of those. What have you learned that helps to support you in getting the results for your clients that you now get? And just make a list. Start, maybe college, and write down if you've gone to college multiple times, like many people have. I have. Write each of them down. If you're a coach, maybe you invested in getting a coaching certification. If you are investing in being coached in coaching programs, if you have invested in mentorship, in masterminds, if you have invested in any kind of learning and growth, write it down. All the little programs you've purchased, all the, you just make your list, keep it coming. So I'm going to give you a minute while you do that. Okay. Now that you've got that list, take out a new piece of paper. You might want to add to it later. You might remember a few things that you've left out. When you just start looking at like online programs alone, you've probably got a nice little list there. So keep adding to it as things come up. Really think about this throughout the day. Now, on your second piece of paper, write down the experiences that you have personally had that you use in your coaching, consulting, service-based business. What experience, what challenges have you overcome? What lessons have you learned that you can now teach other people? So take a minute and write those down. And it doesn't have to be anything necessarily, when I say lessons you've overcome, it doesn't have to be anything necessarily. Why am I getting all these notifications? Hold on a minute. There we go. It doesn't have to be anything super challenging. It can be things you've overcome that are positive. It can be challenges. It can be things that you've just naturally learned along the way. So, you know, maybe it's growing your business. Maybe it's having a really amazing relationship, working through some challenges there. Maybe it has to do with health. Maybe you are someone who travels and is location free, and some of the things that you've learned from that experience you can definitely teach to other people. So make your list. You've got your two pieces of paper now. You've got the first one, which is your education, the things you've invested for learning, and the second one is your experiences. And now, and keep adding to these as well throughout the day. And now on a third piece of paper, the top of this page will be called value. And I want you to go back and put a price on the value of each of the things you've listed. And if it's a program maybe that you invested in, you can write the price of the program. If it's a lesson that you've learned, you know, what's it worth to have a loving relationship that has overcome some obstacles? What's it worth to grow a multi-6 or 7-figure business to someone? What's it worth to overcome a health challenge? So on the experiences, I want you to look at what's the value of the result that you are bringing to the table. On the investment, on the education, I want you to write down either how much you invested. Well, that's a great place to start because that's part of the value. But also, you know, when we go through coaching or a program, not only is it the value that we've put into it, but it's also how it affects us and changes us. So look at that and give that a number as well. So maybe, I can't remember right off the top of my head how much I invested in coaching school, probably maybe 5,000 or 10,000. And how did that increase my value? Right? So give that, how did that change me as a person? Give that a monetary number. And I know this can be a little bit challenging because, you know, what is the value of what I learned in coaching school, or what you learned as a nutritionist, or, you know, whatever you may be offering. But just, you know, trust your intuition and write down a number. So get each of these things that you've listed a number next to them, or on this third sheet of paper, just look at it and write down the numbers for all of that. All right, go ahead. I'll wait. Now, you've probably guessed the next step. Add them up. Add them up. There you go. That's the value you bring to the table when people work with you. What's your number? Post this number where you can see it. I want you to really internalize the value that you're bringing, because we get caught up in this belief that the imposter syndrome or the fraud factor, whatever you want to call it, that maybe we're not quite ready. Why would people pay that much to work with me? Who am I to charge this much? All the noise in our brain. And the truth of the matter is, the proof is right there on these 3 pages that you've listed out today. The reason people work with you is because of who you are. The reason people work with you is because of the transformation you can provide for them. And when you really fully embrace your value, you'll bring even more value to people, to your clients. When you hold back and feel like maybe I'm not ready, you restrict your value and you actually show up and provide less for them. So the real key here to valuing your services and charging what you're worth is to value your services and charge what you're worth, not someday, but right now. And to really step into that and take ownership of it and choose to show up and participate in the world at that level. To choose to participate in the world at providing more value. To really stretch yourself to make an impact that's beyond what you're making now. And say yes to all the work you've done in order to get here, so that your clients can say yes to the results they want as well. So there you go. There's my value-based pricing exercise. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.